everybody. Welcome to Generation Dan, the podcast with three people of three generations, as the name doesn't really imply. I'm Atlas.
I am Nick Fernandez.
And I'm Dino, the genetic marvel.
You okay over there? For people
Sure.
just listening, he's got a shirt that says "Say Perhaps to Drugs."
Yeah. I felt that as I got older, it was important to acknowledge the serendipity in life, and that's why this shirt makes me happy. So,
the serendipity of drugs, or saying yes to drugs?
Isn't it both, though?
I guess so. What was your guys' first drug experience growing up?
Oh, that would have been high school.
Yeah.
What about you, Nick?
Yes, also in high school. I was late to the party. Relatively to most people in my generation, but I dabbled in the marijuana in grade, like, end of grade 11 into grade 12 type of thing. And the first time like that was truly memorable was we smoked a joint right before swim practice. And it was a butterfly workout, and man, I was like a fucking dolphin, and I flew through the air. I soared and cut the water like a graceful sea mammal.
Was that the perspective thing? Just because I feel like the end of that story is I also drowned. Like it's.
No, it was wonderful, man. It was wonderful, and I didn't get tired or anything because like I found like a zone where like I was going through the water at the perfect like pace where it was like the least amount of effort possible. I had figured out the butterfly stroke, and
Nobody
it was
figured.
pretty intense. But I did forget to breathe at points, and I was like, oh, right, it's been a while.
So what you're saying is I'm right.
No, I survived. I'm here. No external action required.
I don't think drowning necessarily means you died. I feel like it's more so that you had an incident where you had to compose yourself in the water. You know, that's my opinion of that.
I think drowning, like you got to get to the point of like losing consciousness due to like lack of air.
You might be right. You may be right. I don't know.
I think it's like water distress. I don't know. This is me like just thinking back to lifeguard courses I took. I didn't do the last one because I just didn't want to.
See, now I'm thinking of like he's in a triathlon or just some sort of like swimming competition, and then they drug test all the contestants afterward, and they'll be like, let's see, steroids, cocaine, weed. I mean, technically illegal, but why? Okay, you know what? We're keeping you in just to study you because what?
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I often on my weekend long runs when I do like 10 kilometers or more, I will smoke a joint right before. So I just start with a runner's high. And then, but by the time the joint, like the THC high starts to like dip, the endorphin high from the run hits. So I'm peaking all the way through.
Oh, interesting.
It's a great time.
That is the saddest statement I've ever heard in my life. Just to be very clear, that's definitely the saddest. Is like I start with a weed high, but then my runner's high kicks in. Is like that is it's just there's just the reward for running is more running. And I just can't.
You just gotta fall in love with the process, man. And as douchey as the thing to say that is, it's true. You just have to you just have to enjoy the act of doing, which sucks. I hate who I've become.
That's why I like my favorite form of exercise is either a game I enjoy playing. So like if I was better at sports before I hit puberty. There's like a family curse where like everybody on my dad's side of the family loses the ability to throw correctly after you hit puberty. Don't know why, just does. Because like when I was a kid, I'd be playing catch with my dad, and he like throw it, and then it would go the fuck over here. I was like, is he like messing with me? It turns out no. It's just something happens when you tell your arm to throw. Just won't do it the way you want to.
Some families have alcoholism. You have gimp arm.
I have the I have the opposite of the movie Rookie of the Year.
Nice.
Yeah. But I just like my favorite exercise are exercises where I don't realize I'm doing it. So like if I have to walk the dog, where that's a chore that I have to do regardless, but hey, I got exercise out of it. Or swimming, where you don't feel the sweat until you've gotten out of the pool.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
I definitely enjoy swimming. That's actually, I was saying to my wife how that's one of the big things that I miss is swimming. Just because normally we go on vacation either to Greece or we try and go to the Caribbean every couple of years too. Mm-hmm. And that's like swimming in the ocean is definitely something that I'm really missing right now. You know?
Is pools difficult because you displace so much water?
That's, you're better than that. You're better than that. And let me remind you.
At least he used the word displace. Or did you say bigger tits? Yeah.
Yeah, Nick has bigger tits than me. Okay,
yeah.
So.
I used to. Unfortunately, those are gone. That's why I need new material.
Hey, 1 week and I could get those tits back on you, sir. So don't make it sound like things have died. Okay?
Yeah. You just break one of my ankles and I'll have a real tough time.
It's been 1 week since you got tits like me.
That's pretty good. How long were you sitting on it? I wasn't looking at you.
Since he said the word 1 week, and then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. You just.
Actually,
I like when you're able to notice and you just see the antsiness, you know.
Yeah. I had an idea for a song parody. I was listening to the radio on the way home today, and "Centerfold" by Jay Giles came on, which if nobody knows the song because fair, like it's from the '80s, no one gives a shit anymore. But the song it's a guy and he's looking through a nudie mag at a newsstand. And he sees a girl he had a crush on in middle school is now, in this nudie mag. And then he,
dare I say, the centerfold?
Yeah. His blood runs cold, his memory has just been sold. The angel is the centerfold. So, the idea I had is it's a guy, just a modern centerfold, but it's like his classmate is on OnlyFans. Or something. I'm still kicking the idea around.
I want to know what that song is called.
His favorite substitute teacher sends him the link.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, the song is called "Centerfold" by Jay Giles Band. And the chorus is "My blood runs cold, my memory is
Mr.
just been
Demetrius sent me the link.
Yeah. My blood runs. Wait,
I don't
think any of us should try and sing it. I don't. Yeah. I loaded it up and I'm gonna watch it after this because I have I've been doing Zoom mics where the host of the show keeps on singing, and I'm like, and she's just like a song will come up and she'll start singing, and the thing is, it's an not older crowd, but they're around my age, so she'll sing it and I'm like, that's not how that song goes because she never gets the tune right. And I'm just like, please stop.
Oh, just like can't hit the notes, or
I don't know. It just doesn't it's the wrong lyrics for the wrong song. Like she's trying to sing it, and I'm like, that's not how that goes.
Oh, that's the worst. I thought you meant like they're just a bad enough singer where they can't hit the notes, and then it just sounds off.
It's not great. I'll tell you, it's not great. So
I don't know. I feel bad for like my entire childhood. My mom would just sing to herself while she was,
Was she good though?
No, but she was enjoying herself, and my sister and I used to yell at her for it, like, "Stop, you're annoying." And I feel awful because as an adult, it's really fun. Like,
yeah, you know what? Yeah, is that the one thing though that you realize is like, as kids are horrible people.
Oh
like,
yeah,
they are ruthless and so honest that. And the thing is, especially when you look back at what you would like tell your parents to stop, you're like, "Fuck!"
I'm so sorry.
Because you're like,
Yeah.
you destroyed their whole spirit. And they're like, oh, sorry, I was just trying to have fun with my day. But no, I should just stop talking for your betterment. And you're like, oh, I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah. And you'll like remember it as an adult. Although to be fair, so one of my best friends growing up, his mom is Susanna Hoffs from the Bangles, and she would sing around the house because she's Susanna Hoffs from the Bangles, and her kids would kind of yell at her to stop too. So I don't think it's like
Yeah.
no matter
it's
how
not
good
a
you are.
talent-based thing.
Yeah, it's just something about being a kid or something. I don't know. I have two half siblings that are 11 and 8, and the 8-year-old is so mean. And I am like every time I go over there because like we share a dad, and I'll be talking like snarky or whatever, and then I'll have a comeback, and I have to like
between dad time. Like, do you get him 40 and he gets him 60? Like, what's the?
let's see.
Yeah, I'm not
So
sure.
I got-
I've been propositioned with a timeshare, never a dad share. I don't I don't know what the terms of that agreement is.
Let's see. My dad had me at 41, and then the kid is 8, and I am 27. So almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Really redefining, reliving his youth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially because, like, he's got Parkinson's, so I'm like, damn, I even got, like,
Yeah. Fuck. You know what?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing is like I understand starting over. Like I've been through a divorce and it was fucking hell. But like at the same time, I'm much happier now than I ever was, right? So it's like I get. And the thing is, especially as a kid, like I know a lot of the young people all the people that I grew up with when we were younger, they got divorces and stuff. Like it happened a lot, not a lot, but that was when it first kind of started. Was when I was younger, like say it would have been like early to mid 90s.
Yeah.
That's when like you started hearing about people getting divorces, right? And it's always been something that I'm like, that's just gotta be a nightmare. But at the same time now I'm like, I get it. Like, come on, living through everyone who's been in a bad relationship knows that you're like, yeah, man, sometimes you're just like, you know what, I've invested so much time, but fuck it, I'm out. Like I can't. Just for
you can't like sunk cost fallacy your way through, right?
Yeah, like I had one buddy whose
Or fear that you won't find someone else.
Yeah, that too. Well, I had one buddy whose parents stayed together essentially until they were done high school, and like had kind of figured out what they wanted to do. And they're like, okay, listen, you guys should know, we don't love each other anymore. We've just stayed together just for you guys. So like your formative years and everything. So you had, we were both under one household. Everything was fine and everything. They were odd guys and stuff. Like, they were good and everything, but their parents were very kind of like traveling trains in the night. Like, you never saw them together and stuff. So it all made sense now, but at the same time, you're kind of going, you know what? That's pretty reasonable, where it's like, oh, we're just going to do our thing. And now that, you guys are done, hey, I think is the best possible case, right?
I mean, that's what my parents tried to do, and then when I was 10, they were like, "Can't do it, can't do it." 8 more years, I can't. I'm done.
The fucking cupboard open, and that was it.
Not like it was just a matter of like my dad was not emotionally available, which knowing more about his, like, especially now that he's retired, I'm like getting more of these stories from when he was a kid and growing up, and he came from a blended family where his mom divorced his biological dad when he was like a baby and then remarried, so a lot of his siblings are step siblings. And I was like, that's probably why he keeps everything so close to the vest, for like his mom remarrying in a time where women couldn't even hold their own bank accounts.
Yeah.
And so it was probably he would do something and she's like, well, you shut the fuck up. It's the 60s. If I screw this up again,
we're done.
We're done. So
there is no
keep
again.
it. There is no again. So
this
like
is the A.
Yeah.
There's no game.
This is our only shot.
It's just the A.
Yeah. So you get along with your new sister, okay? Like just shit like that.
Your teeth will come back.
Teeth will come back.
If we play this right, you'll get dental. It's very...
Yeah.
Be happy they let you touch the bat.
Yeah.
Any form.
Yeah, no. So I don't know. That's fucked up, right? Like, that makes it a lot harder. Like, having, like, I have 4 siblings, and I'm not really fond of any of them. I don't associate with them at all.
I hope they don't listen to this show.
I don't give a shit. They can fuck themselves.
I know, but it's just funny where someone like listens and they're like,
what?
Dino, no, and you're like, fuck you, Gary, or whatever his name is. Like,
you don't associate.
Yeah, my name is Dino with a brother named Gary. That would be.
Gary is my placeholder name for any male. That's not your fault. That's just how it is.
I am going to find a way
with them. You don't associate with them, and then they're just like, let me check in with Dino. Oh, he's doing a new show. Let me just check out the most recent episode. And gets a little way in, and like, I hate myself.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's I know them from a time in my life where I didn't like myself either, right? And I think that's one of the hard things as you grow older is people change. People change a lot. So like I only see my siblings like once in never, right? Like we saw each other when my dad was dying, but then that kind of as soon as he was dead, back everybody to their own corner. Like it was like that. And that was the thing was like, yeah, I'm like, I don't really know them anymore, right? So I can't. But that's the thing is like I have friends that I've known since I was in grade 6, so 11 years old, that I'm still friends with now, right? But we too have changed. When we get together, we all kind of revert to 16-year-olds and start hitting each other in the dick. But that's that's just kind of a manly thing to do, because we're stupid. We're all dumb.
Yeah. But if you actually connect, there's some like lasting damage now.
Oh,
because if anyone like falls in the process, well, there's a hip, like
generations.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm that old. No. I'm the only fat one. The other 2 are in shape. So
you don't lose the impetus. You don't lose the impetus for the prank. You just like your body kind of goes like Is it that funny? Like,
yeah, I'm like, my sister just turned 30 this year. I'm waiting for her to like start having the like your body starts to fall apart on you portion.
It's not so bad at 30. It's more like it's
40.
Yeah, 40. I found things really start to go out of whack. Whereas like my kidney area will start hurting, and then I'm like, oh, you know what? I haven't been drinking enough water, so I got to drink a lot more water for a few days and really ramp things up. Or then I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe I should have some cranberry juice, clean out the little things like that. Like starting your day with hot water and lemon. It's a great thing. It's good for your liver. It's good for your intestines, all that kind of stuff, right? So like, and then you always have those crazies like, oh, I use crystals. I'm like, yeah, you're fucking retarded. I'm out.
At what age did you start buying prunes? I feel like there's a certain prune age.
Listen,
if at all.
Everything, my body, while huge, is proportionate. I'm a large man, so like my asshole is just the right size for what it's moving, and so I'm content. But no, I have started drinking Metamucil though, so that's.
I do it every day, man. Right before a meal. It's Yo, I love that I never have to put effort into my bowel movements. Like I just kind of like, oh, I feel it, and then I sit there, and then I get up. Like that's kind of all it is. Like there's never effort. I'm never perspiring. Like it's just it's a calming moment, you know.
I feel like the women in your life have said the same about you. It's like, I jump on there and then it's done, quick, done, and I move on, no problems.
Yeah, it's cleansing. I'm not even perspiring. It's great.
This is like when you hear like moms talking about their kids' shits on like whatever thing, like just the thing where they gotta like use the language just so. Or just
So
be like,
gross.
yeah, my
They
my kid.
ran all the trigger words through FCC like
Yeah,
requirements.
exactly.
All right, so you can say doo doo, but you can't say caca. Don't ask us
Yeah.
why. It might be a clan thing, and then there's just they have all these ones that they just have to Squirtle. I don't know.
The Pokemon?
Yeah,
Okay.
You
That's a thing.
it's
fucking
onomatopoeia,
child.
like a runny shit.
That's horrible.
I think
Yeah.
I'm
And
gonna
I'll be
vomit.
honest. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely that is definitely too far. So good job, Nick. Nick, you're gonna get canceled.
Okay, show's over. Let's go home now. Oh wait, we are at home.
We
Yeah.
we are at home.
Yeah.
It's still like baffles me that I'm doing a show with somebody I've literally never met in person.
Yeah,
Either of you.
it is very
Um,
weird.
As far
Yeah,
as
like-
you know, I live in this blank void.
And apparently have like
Blank
9
void.
different styles of interior. I love it. It's great.
I know, right?
It's got. Have you ever seen like The Sixth Sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how like everything in that world is like scrolls, and like even when they cycle the beds, like it just like it's kind of like a conveyor belt thing. Like I just have different like facades in my room that just go like kind of slide into one another, like a endless wardrobe type of thing. That's just where I'm living.
You're definitely too high. This is fun. This is
Yeah, I
enjoyable
know.
because none of what you said, like I know what those words mean, but
Yeah.
none of it made any sense. Which
I
I
feel
love
it-
because you're very smart, and that makes me feel good about myself.
I
This
feel
is-
like a Greek philosopher right now having an important discussion because I have a bowl of like fresh berries here, and then I'm just having like a long conversation, like just proselytizing while enjoying like fresh fruit. It feels very Socratic.
Yeah. The best part is like that was probably done because he read a thesaurus while he was sober, and now the words are kind of leaking out of his
Yeah.
subconscious while he's like
Exactly.
stoned.
He's actually had
Yeah.
like an aneurysm, and everything is just seeping into everything. It's
Oh my god.
it's very enjoyable.
There's been a breach
Yeah.
between
Yeah.
the two hemispheres of my brain. Yeah.
Like, see, this is the best part is I take a sick pleasure in watching people who are in their eyes
Mhm.
they're better, or by society's eyes. So like Nick has a lot of degrees and very important letters attached to his name.
On
But
paper,
when I
accomplished.
make him sound stupid, it makes me feel so happy because I didn't finish college.
Oh, okay.
Right?
It's kind of like so.
It's
I
like
was
a
listening.
division of Schadenfreude.
Yeah, making me
Like,
feel
I know what the
glad
fuck that
that
means.
I'm not you. It's German for happiness at the misfortune of others.
Are
And
you
there's
sure
also
it's
a
not Chinese because that sounds
Positive.
Chinese thing.
It's
more.
probably
It-
got like a Taoist philosophy
It's,
thing.
and,
Parallel.
oh, like the meaning of the word maybe, but in terms of the word, that's definitely German.
The
It's
word is definitely German, but the
Yeah.
philosophy feels very Chinese. That's
I saw this.
I mean-
It's not
I
Greek,
saw this
tell you that.
video the other day that it was like people in speaking in 4 different languages the same word. It was like
Yeah.
butterfly. It was like Italian, English, and then French, and
Frankenhausen, yeah.
German. And it
Wow.
was like butterfly. It was like butterfly, butterfly, and then buttergegangen. Like it was.
Yeah.
The German was always so aggressive.
harsh. Yeah, definitely.
True.
That's what
The
happens
word
when
for
when you're in
puppies
this
is just like angry.
Dongenhausen or whatever. Like just like well, when you're in the center of the European continent and you're like a
And have been known to overstep a bit, maybe.
yeah. Well, because there's like an old saying, like even before the World Wars,
Trying
right?
to dominate the room.
Yeah. Well, there's an old saying from before the World Wars, back when it was Prussia, not Germany,
Yeah.
and where some states have an army, the Prussian army has a state.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Like
Yeah.
that's so like exclusively German.
Yeah.
You know.
They also
That
like
makes
come into conversations really, really quickly, and just kind of all of a sudden they're in control of everything before you even know what's happened.
Yeah, like a certain lightning way of doing so, like a
Maybe even a
creed of some
maneuver.
kind.
Yeah, yeah.
This is the smartest douchebag conversation I've ever been a part of. Lots of
Yeah.
fancy words,
It's a literary
history,
dick measuring
puns.
contest.
Love
Yeah,
it, love it.
so
It's
good.
like these are the times when if I heard someone laugh at this conversation, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done. I can't. It's like
I don't
Never
want
do
to
a live
do this
version.
anymore.
No.
I don't want to hear the douchebags talk.
well, that's like. Have you ever been at a gig where you see somebody go up and you're like, all right, this fucking guy, and he starts doing the same thing he does every other time, but all of us, for some reason, the crowd is digging it. So he's just like on top of the world and he's hitting every note, and you're saying, going, are you fucking kidding me? He's like, I've lost my mind. I've definitely lost my mind. I've fallen asleep at the wheel. I've crashed into a pole, and this is my hell, you know? But
There's
Then you're just bitter at the audience. Because like that means this guy's gonna keep doing it. Like,
Yeah.
Because you know, like from experience, that like I feel like one good gig can get you through like 5 weeks of really shitty. Like you just need to have one reasonably good one to get you through another 4 to 5 weeks. Like, so
Well,
like there's people that do a year of comedy and have 10 good gigs and get through it.
Oh yeah. Well, there's also those people who, if they've heard one person laugh at that joke before, they will continue to do it every single time because they know that that joke's funny. It's these people that don't get it, and you're like, no, that's not how this works, man. That's well, that's like people were like, oh, should comedy be censored? And my opinion is that there's a time and place for everything. Some crowds you can say certain things. Other crowds, there are different things that you can talk about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because a crowd not being for you, like if it not being your crowd, that's okay, right? But that means you need to grow your versatility to deal with more people, right? Because we're all still trying to find our own voice, our own, kind of soapbox to stand on, right? So, but yeah,
There's this guy who any LA comics who are listening to this, you know exactly who this man is. But in the LA comedy scene, there is a man.
Let's call him Zeus. His name is Zeus.
Let's call him Zeus. And Zeus is one of these people with an insane work ethic and zero talent.
Let's call him Pop Flogan. No, is that no?
What the name's Zeus. So Zeus does this thing where he will do a bit for like 6 months, and he's like, I'm honing it, I'm stage crafting it, and we're like, dude, you get like one guy courtesy laughing, and he shows up everywhere. He's everywhere at once. I don't think I've seen him on an actual show. It's always just been open mics.
Yeah,
but he's been telling the same story about meeting David Boreanaz for over 5 years now, and it's never like.
Who is David Boreanaz?
He's an actor.
Okay.
I think he was
Bones?
on X-Files.
He's on Bones and Angel and Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah,
he's a good-looking guy.
Nerd.
Yeah, he is. And he kind of talks like this, David Boreanaz. That's what he sounds like.
Zeus or David Boreanaz?
Zeus.
Oh.
What did you say? Why does he sound what?
Yeah, no, that sounds familiar. That bit. I'm trying to think of where I've heard it before. No,
I don't know. I might have.
No.
Maybe, or just. I might have told you, or like talked about it on like one of the Eargasm shows or something. I'm not sure.
No, it might just be that I'm remembering something from when David Boreanaz was on Mad TV.
Oh, okay.
That might.
Yeah, that could be a thing.
You ever see someone have like a shaky set and like they got some laughs. They look really like inexperienced and nervous, and then they come off and you're like, hey, you got some pops there, like and you just try and say something nice because they kind of like end up next to you. You're like, yeah, pretty good. And then you later like, how long you've been doing it? And you're expecting them to say like, a few months, whatever, and then they're like, 15 years. and and you're like, and that was the that was the product in a good room. That was where you ended up 50, and you're still going.
Yeah. Well, it could be like an entirely new bit, and it just didn't.
You know it's not.
It's not like he's been doing it for
You give them the benefit of the doubt, and you ask someone, you're like, has they ever do? No, that's the best. Yeah.
There was a guy like over 5 years ago at this mic I used to go to who would quite literally do the same routine every single mic,
now,
word for word.
Word for word. So like exact same bit. Would he change the order of the bits?
Nope, same thing every single time. And I never saw him anywhere else. He only went to this place, and then he almost seemed surprised as like the returns diminished over time, and we're like, yeah.
Was it the same? Was it like a return audience?
I mean, it was a mic, so you had people coming back to that mic. So whether or not there's like at least one new person in the room, it's still like, dude,
it's gonna fizzle, right?
Yeah.
Was there like rehearsed crowd work in there?
No.
And what do you do, sir?
How do you rehearse crowd work? Oh my god, that's just...
Well, you have a question that you always ask, and then you know what the answer is. Like, oh no, it's blank.
Yeah. Oh, like where your answer is the same thing. It's just. Yeah.
No matter what they answer, you have the better joke, right? So and it just seems spontaneous. Yeah.
Have you guys gotten heckled before?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's like your best like heckle block you've pulled off?
I have a good one.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I'll go.
You said something first, so please.
Yes, but this one was interesting because I didn't have to do anything. It was a show that it was at like Hardwood Blues, Dino, and we went there often. And one time I went and like there was like a table of regulars in the front row, and someone else new who's normally wasn't there got really rowdy, and before I could say anything, one of the black guys at the regular table went like, "Yo, shut the fuck up! I hear what this guy has to say." And then I was
really?
I was like, oh my god.
I just like that he told him to shut the fuck up, but there was like a reason to it.
Yeah, like
shut the fuck up. We are trying to watch the comedy.
Excuse me, sir. I paid good money for these theater tickets, and when you throw those tomatoes, it severely inhibits my ability to enjoy the performance. Yeah.
That's definitely how people are at Hardwood Blues. That's for sure.
That was a 1-to-1 impression.
The return of the 20th century. God, if
all of your act outs are in like old Victorian theater speak, no matter what you're referencing.
Imagine if someone was like using that voice, but for just 2000s lingo, like turn of the 21st century.
They hit
stuff.
Hopping.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Oh god.
That's a horrible subject. Anyway,
if I could find you now, things would get better.
I'm picturing it as like a sliding filter where you just like you can kind of like turn it on and off, toggle it on and off through a conversation. Just go from like actual to like putting on your 1800s filter, 1800s like royalty, royal court jester type of stuff. Oh my god, your derision is delectable.
I know, right?
It is horrifically bad. See, this is the thing is, like, I have a hard time with certain comedic performances. Like some people who are just want to offend people. You're like, or gross them out and stuff like that. I'm like, okay. I'm like, it works for some people, but when like that's why like for hecklers, somebody said something stupid in mine, and I just I went to classes that they had here for comedy after I had already started. And the one thing that the guy teaching it, who was a great teacher, was said, he's like, always repeat whatever they said. Just because it gives you like a solid 2-3 seconds for number one, for you to make sure, because anything like if you have the audience already on your side, you can say anything and they will side with you, right? But if you have a really good retort, then you can really bring the house down.
Yeah.
Like for mine was, one guy said, or a lady said something, and I'm like, that's because you're a fucking idiot. And everyone just went crazy. And then the second guy said something, and I'm like, are you the stupid friend? Are those your friends that you're with? I go, because that didn't even make sense what you said. I'm like, this one is just an idiot, and hers was better than yours. I'm like, you're a fucking moron. I'm like, forever you're gonna live your life knowing that your friends know that you're the stupid one out of them. And he was dying, like he just kept on shrinking back. And then afterward they stayed, and they're like, man, that was so awesome. Thank you so much for including us in the show. And I'm like, all right, great. I'm like, and the lady who I roasted, she came back like 9 times to that show and kept on trying to talk to me, and I'm like, no, gotta go later. It was weird.
to like try and apologize, or what was the like?
No, she kept on introducing herself to me as that lady that heckled her and that I did so good because it was a competition night, and because of it I won.
Oh, sweet!
Yeah, I think she contributed.
Well, not just that, but I think she wanted to get to know me, and I was like, nah, I'm married. See you later. And then I had a friend come see the show, and I'm like, can you talk to her? Just get me out of the situation. She goes, sure. And then when I came back to find her, she's like, that bitch is crazy. Run for your life. I was like, good to know.
You were the roller coaster she wanted to ride.
That has happened. What can I say? People are weird. Listen, it's a true fact. A guy will make you laugh, and then boom, suddenly you're naked. It's quick.
Guy will make you laugh, and boom, suddenly you're naked. Sure. So my funny friend and I,
fuck passionately.
Yeah, definitely. It's it's like that first sex scene in The Room where it's different camera angles, and he's like fucking my hip, but.
Just weird.
Please tell me you've seen The Room.
Movies. No. Why would I do that to myself?
I haven't watched it repetitively. It's probably been like 7, 8, 9, 10 years since I watched it because it was enough. Yeah.
Definitely. I just remember Nostalgia Critic's review of it where he's just going through it scene by scene, and he's like, look at this sex scene. That is definitely not the vagina. He's fucking her in like the hip bone or something. Like just that kind of thing.
Oh. Yeah. Oh wait, you guys have both seen the thing that what's his face did afterward, right? About The Room.
Oh, James Franco,
yeah.
disaster artist.
I got about a third of the way through, and then I never went back to it.
Good. Okay. Atlas, have you seen it?
Yes, I have seen it.
Have seen it. Yeah, that figures. Yeah, you're both horrible people. Just to be clear, that's. Why would you do it to yourselves? I don't understand.
I don't know. It was funny. It was a good.
I love the
good biopic.
Like I do intend to finish it. I never have. What I did just finish was Bo Burnham's new special Inside, which was really really good.
It was.
Yeah, I these interesting formatted ones, like I wouldn't necessarily just classify them as comedy specials. They're more like performance art pieces. Is more encapsulated because there is no audience for the whole special. He just filmed it all in one room. But it is funny throughout. But it's not comedy all the way through. It's more.
Did you laugh while you weren't high?
Yes. There's really really funny moments in it. Like he does this one song called "White Woman's Instagram," which is hilarious. The chorus is this heaven or is it just a white woman's Instagram? And it is perfect. It is perfect.
I am very jealous of comedians that have a knack with music because that's hard stuff.
But and he's also a scientist. of comedy. Like his previous special, I don't know if you saw that, but he put up a PowerPoint that was running in real time behind him. That was exactly his script of what he was going to say at every single moment of the show, even when it seemed ad libbed by his performance. If you just looked up, it was just like, and oh, hello, miss, and he just looked at someone in the front row. Like all of it was right behind him. It was incredible. But not at all what I would want to do. But it was impressive.
So this is like his pet sounds, right? Or his rumors, or I'm naming albums that Dino might know. His what are like other famous albums? His
I'm
Run
not
to the Hills, or
I don't think Dino's your guy to get these.
No. I'm
learning that Atlas isn't great at body language. Because right from and then he's just like, I'm naming things that Dino will get, and then Dino was immediately like, no.
No, I saw it. That's why I kept going.
Yeah, no,
that's the point.
I'm not big on comedy albums. Yeah, no,
none of those were comedy.
Those
albums.
were just regular old albums.
Pick
that up from context.
That was the Beach Boys and
Fleetwood Mac.
And Fleetwood Mac and Iron Maiden. Those were all.
Those are. I am not 65. Maybe you guys have been misled.
I'm 24 and I got one of them. And I got the rest of the content.
Douchebag, and you're like, they're cool again, man. Fucking dick.
Well,
am I a douchebag just because I know the word onomatopoeia? Is that what it is?
100%.
No,
I feel like I feel like Dino turned on me as soon as I pulled out onomatopoeia. There was a noticeable shift.
I don't think it's a douchebag thing if you know onomatopoeia. I think you're a douchebag if you know how to spell onomatopoeia.
Definitely.
I also know how to do that. I don't know. Yeah, I know it. Yeah.
It's like onomatopoeia. It's like some ridiculous thing.
And Pia is the rough part. But I only know it because for a time I got really into crosswords. Which is it's an interesting point in a long-term relationship where you as a couple get really into crosswords.
Doing the crossword together.
I gotta let you know that in a relationship, if you start doing crosswords together, just hang it up, man. That's done. It's
really.
You know what? Listen, could you compete against each other like Scrabble? Fair, but doing crossword is a very solitary thing, and it's very private. That's not for that's my private time. I would do a crossword.
No, it was collaborative. It was really. I have a very fond memories of you'd be cuddle up, and one person's reading and writing, the other person's kind of scalp massaging the other person. It's nice tender moments. Yeah.
Maybe.
And you learn how to spell the word ew.
Ew, like disgust?
No, like a female sheep.
Oh, E-W-E, right?
Yeah. Ew. It's like the word bowl. The more you say it, the weirder it sounds.
Well, that's any word. If you continue to say it, it doesn't sound like a word anymore.
Also
onomatopoeia. Yeah.
He's not going to say it again, is he?
No.
Don't do it. My girlfriend does this thing where she'll... her hobby, this is what she does to pass time.
Onomatopoeia.
Shut up. Learning languages. She just goes on Duolingo and she's like, I'm going to learn Japanese today. And
do you retain any of that?
I don't know if she does. But
or do you just get better at
if she has an outlet,
recall?
You need an outlet for it. No, you need an outlet for it.
You got to
you need
right?
Yeah, because I feel like knowing, at least in I'm in Southern California, knowing Spanish would be super helpful.
Yeah,
just
sense.
In general. And unfortunately,
it should be fine if you're trying to find a library, right?
Oh, donde está la biblioteca? Krav Maga!
Right?
Yeah.
I wrote a joke the other day where I was like, I had an unreasonable feeling that everyone in the school system thought we would need libraries on a regular basis in random places. You had to know how to say library because that's where you went for stuff. And it's suddenly, ta-da, I have my library right here. Fuck your language.
I just
I don't-
I just thought of right now of a reason why that's might be one of the first things you learn. Is because if you're in a different country,
Yeah.
logically at a library they would have a
Language
translatable phrase book that
Yes.
you would be able
Yeah.
to get to. I just came up with that reasoning now, but I think it holds up.
There's
not a
more
bad
to it.
idea.
It's also too that library will have information, newspapers. It'll have communication specialists, research materials. There's any number of things that libraries we never
Computers,
use them for.
maybe at a
Well,
reasonable
but
point.
before that too, right? Like libraries were actually quite integral. Like city hall, libraries. These things were very important for cities to function. And
maybe
now
close
they are
to other like
nothing.
social services that you might be able to
Yeah.
leverage.
Absolutely.
You can. This is now a thing, at least in my local library. You can check out DVDs or Blu-rays
You
from
can
your local library.
Do
Up
they
here,
also
you can-
like let you rent out the
ebooks.
hardware at this point? I don't think DVD players are ubiquitous anymore.
No, not DVD
God.
players, but DVDs.
What did you smoke, douchebag?
I know,
Kush?
right?
No, like I mean,
Like,
you
I'm
know,
gonna use a
it's
big
not
word.
it's not something I most of my friends don't have DVD players anymore, right? They just rely that they're able to stream things whenever
Stop
they need
hanging
it.
out with homeless people.
Yeah. Well, also that's like shelter or just something to do if you're a homeless person too. Like libraries are important.
I
Yeah,
think they are.
Yeah.
Well, that's the one thing is like, it bothers me how much that like up in Canada you can actually rent an ebook. They email you the ebook and it, like you have to, once you're a member of the library system, like you get your
Yeah.
library card, you can sign on. They have an app and you can rent an ebook and then you just return it to them. I'm not sure how that works and everything, but yeah,
Mhm.
like that's why. But DVDs as well. They would have some old video games, but like that was I think a donation based. Like if somebody donated video games, they would have it, but not really. It wasn't a thing.
Got it.
But DVDs, VHS.
think how filthy those controllers would be.
Ugh, gross.
I don't think they would rent the systems though,
Like-
because that was like you would do that at like a Blockbuster or something, right?
Yeah. In the ruins of video stores, libraries took up the mantle of renting movies, basically,
Well,
outside of streaming.
Well, that's the thing is, I remember, like, part of my childhood was Friday night renting movies. Like, that was a huge thing.
The process of walking around and looking at the
Oh.
the covers and
origination
everything.
Of the painstaking decision-making process of what to watch,
And
with-
negotiation with your siblings.
huge,
Yes.
and then negotiation.
Selling
then, like,
chores. I promise I'll do the dishes all week. Just let me choose. I know it's
Yeah.
your week. I know it's your. It just came out today.
Definitely. 100%.
They're gonna talk about it on Monday. I don't want. Easy for you to say. They give you the answer to the whole plot to your movie in the freaking trailer. You know they're gonna
Mhm.
get together at the end, but I do not know what's gonna happen to Optimus Prime. Like,
Generations.
I remember renting Terminator 2 Judgment Day and watching it like at least 20 times in 3-day period, like nonstop. We were watching it over and over, and this was VHS. So to rewind it at the end, like, watch it again. Like
Yeah.
that was that
that
was a huge
used to be
thing.
like a very pleasing sound though when you press the rewind. The like when
Yeah.
you hear the motor start up and run it back. I would incessantly rewatch movies over and over again from a really young age.
Just to rewind them.
I used to play with Lego by myself in my basement, and I would just rewatch the same movies, like my favorite movies, over and over again, and not even look at the screen. It would just be running in the background while I just built
Yeah.
stuff.
I think every kid is like that. Like when you're little, it's just knowing, or I guess predictability.
Yeah.
Maybe when you're a kid, you're because like you have so little control that knowing something you're like.
I think it was a sign that like I was forced to be play by myself because my sister never wanted to play with me, and I was just like I would be home, by myself a lot, but I'm an extrovert at heart, so I think that running the movies and the dialogue in the background, it was predictable. It was like I knew the people that were talking,
Yeah.
and it felt like I was in like a populated room at all times, you know.
Well,
And
it's your first experience
this
to
day,
predicting a conversation, right?
yeah.
That's what it is. It's you're
But
able
I
to
also
predict a
find
conversation and how to
any
interact.
noise comforting. Like even when I was in university, when I would study, I would want to be in a loud place because I'd find that I'd be able to focus when it was really loud around.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I would do this thing when I was in college where, in order to study, I would go up to the science library because the English one was something out of the 1970s and completely terrible at UC Riverside. The science one was super cool.
Money into the literature department.
Yeah, exactly. It was literally just like the shitty bookshelves you get at IKEA in like a big room, and they're like,
Flimsy and low and taupe.
that's it. Yeah, but like the science one had like, you know, twists and turns and like bean bags and couches, shit like that.
Interesting nooks and crannies. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I would go up there. I would go into. They have this weird like cubicle setup where it's a pole, and then like these kind of triangle
Partitions.
shapes, partitions going in a circle. So I would go up there. I would claim one of those during finals
This is
week.
like a Mad Libs game. I love this.
Yeah, I'm having a blast.
One song on repeat, and then write my paper or study for my test. So every quarter it was something, because otherwise I'd spend time being like, okay, what song goes with this final? Like, by having the same song, it's just like, okay, get your shit done so you can leave.
But
my last
how do you decide on that song? Because it's a song that you enjoy, but you're willing to ruin forever. Like,
yeah,
you're forever cementing memories, like sense memory with that song, with that, I presume, shitty time studying.
it would, for the most part, go away. Like the feeling of it being shitty would go away after like spring break, summer break, whatever it is. Like it'd be
You'd have to have a breakup period. It's like a toxic girlfriend, you know.
And then it comes back though. That's the good thing about music. It always comes back.
And toxic girlfriends.
So like
True.
my last
always comes back.
My last paper I ever had to write for college was written to "I Can't Dance" by Genesis.
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, well, just because it's the sort of like plotting
understand
beat, you know.
Well, it's a very it's a repetitive song. It's not great, but it's decent, so you can listen to it. But if it dies, it's okay. Smart.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's why when you pick a song as your ringtone, you don't want it to be like your favorite song. You want it to be like your sixth favorite song. You know,
like elevator music.
Kinda, yeah. But instead of elevator music, it's like gangsta rap or whatever that person is into.
Definitely gangster rap, for sure.
I just think that would have been the funniest if I said like prog rock or something that's less funny.
Yeah, that's true. Oh god, are you guys open up down in California now, or what?
Yes and no. We're supposed to open up on the 15th, but Mayor Gavin Newsom is doing this kind of vacillating thing where I think he's trying to thread the needle so he doesn't get recalled.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I don't know, maybe the end of July. So, like, I'm on a show at the end of June, and they're like, okay, it might be in person or it might be on Zoom. I'll let you know, which is so weird to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you like promote that show? Like, is it like Schrodinger's ticket? Like,
kind of.
You don't know what you're buying until you open the show.
I don't know, with like my little email list thing I got going on, I told them it's one or the other. I'll let you know when I find out. But this is the date and time. So I at least had that. Just is it on Zoom or is it not?
Date and time. Like, do you at least have the prospective location?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I feel like date and time is not enough of a warning in LA, based on what I know about traffic restrictions.
Yeah, like I know who's producing it. They have a place. It's just are we going to be using that place? Because I'm on their festival later this week, at least at the time of recording this. By the time you hear this, it's long gone. But they have like a backyard set up like behind the building, so at least it's outside.
Yeah.
So I think what
Which
their
is
plan
more
would be
likely, right?
Yeah. I think what their plan is to if we do it in person, you do it in the back and then just stream it on Zoom, and then
Yeah.
you
So
hit
for the
two birds with
people
one stone.
yeah, that aren't on the fence. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you don't know a place in LA, like before you look it up, in your head, what amount of travel time do you automatically budget for?
Half an hour.
Half an
Is
hour?
usually, yeah, because I live near where the 101 meets the 110.
So you're at a node.
Kind of, yeah. But also, I can get on the 101 and go north to the 405. So it kind of feels like living at the intersection of two rivers, where you have options of where to go.
Right.
Now, granted, all of those rivers constantly have traffic on them, but you know the sentiment is there.
Yeah. There's a
What
way.
what about for Toronto? What's the budget there?
I'd say if it's not within your immediate neighborhood, then you're looking at like about 40 minutes probably. If it's something that, because most of the main amenities that you would be traveling a reasonable amount of time for are either directly downtown or far outside of the city.
Yeah.
So it's usually a significant distance to travel.
I'm lucky. I'm to one side of Toronto, but at the same, like, I'm kind of in the top corner of the main city. So I can be downtown in about 15 minutes. But if it's on the other side of downtown, then it's going to take me another 15, 20 minutes, right? So it's 30 to 40 minutes usually. That makes sense, depending on where, because you're up in Markham right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's
like,
a lot longer.
yeah, but I can make it downtown in like 40 minutes, like 35, if there's not much traffic. Yeah.
Do you guys measure travel by time, not distance, like we do out here?
It's time. Yeah.
Yeah, because like in smaller towns or cities, it's usually like, oh yeah, that's about 10 miles away. In LA, that's 25 minutes away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is so weird to me when it's really fun meeting a new comic and they're like, how far is this? I'm like, it's about 45 minutes away. And he's like, what do you mean? Like, if I open Google Maps, it'll say that? I'm like, yes. He's like, how many miles? I'm like, that doesn't matter.
It doesn't. Yeah.
It doesn't. Do you have a car? He goes, yeah. I'm like, then it definitely doesn't matter.
It only matters if you have a motorcycle, right?
I guess so.
No,
or just...
no,
what are
it's
those
not
e-bikes?
Europe.
Or you gotta call an Uber or, take the train or something, which our trains
in
are
LA, they
fucking
can
terrible.
lane split.
Yeah,
They
in...
can legally lane split. So even if
Yeah,
it's like
but it's still
gridiron
not safe.
traffic, you can just go
Well,
full speed as long as you don't worry about limbs coming out of windows.
Yeah, or like you wing someone's mirror. I think during the worst rush hour is probably the best time to be a motorcyclist because it's just not moving, or it's like 5 miles an hour.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about errant drivers, not checking their
You
blind
just-
spots. You're the only
Yeah.
thing that's moving.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
Yeah, and our trains fucking suck because they only really go east to west for the most part. Going north to south is a nightmare.
Why would
there's
Why
no
couldn't they have done it
civil
north to south?
planning whatsoever in LA, right? It was just
Per-
consistent urban sprawl, and no one ever had a plan, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also for something like New York, you are
It's basically
tied
like
to
10 different towns that just end up connecting because they
exactly.
can't be
Yeah,
together, right?
LA is like 10 to 15 small towns crammed together, which is also why you can kind of still have that experience of like, oh, I ran into my teacher at the grocery store, like,
Right.
for
Small
something
town
like New York.
vibes within neighborhoods, right?
Yeah, like for something like New York or Boston, where they are hamstrung by the literal size of the land they're on, because New York's an island, and that kind of thing. They were forced to build up, not out.
Same with Boston. It's
much.
kind of like a peninsula type of thing.
Yeah, but LA is just keep going inward, keep going south, keep going north, and it's just
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is why like the Boring Company is exciting because it provides the idea of a bypass, right?
Boring company? What do you mean?
Elon Musk's tunneling thingy.
Yeah, in that sort of sense, but it literally sounds like something you came up with when you were high. And when I say you, I don't mean the proverbial you, I mean you in particular, Nick.
I guess it depends on how high you are, how you spell boring.
Yeah, or
I
just
feel
like
if you're really high, you're spelling it Boaring, because you were just thinking about like pigs, like they dig with their tusks.
Yeah.
We'll call it the Boring Company.
But it's still one of those things that, like, it sounds like a 4-year-old made it up.
That's a great origin idea. Elon, take it.
Oh my god, I hate Elon Musk so much.
Yeah.
Just fuck him. I'll talk about that in another episode.
Why we hate Elon Musk?
Why we hate Elon Musk? Well, it's especially weird because
don't hate on him too hard. His shares do me well.
Oh my god! Like, my sister's boyfriend works for SpaceX, so he and I will occasionally get into.
Oh my! So this isn't like a logical argument for you. It's just like Capulets and Montagues.
No, I have logical arguments for it.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that next time.
I'm the biggest douche when he's high. This is great.
Yeah. Jesus
Christ.
Everything
has a fancy word. Go fuck yourself, Nick, you son of a bitch.
So basically, this episode of Generation Dan is just call me when you're sober.
Yeah, pretty much. That's I think that seems accurate. But I love. See, this is the thing is, Nick comes across when you meet him. You're like, okay, let's see what happens. And he'll purposefully use words that like that's a complex word that people don't use, but I know that he's used it correctly, and that will make you angry. Because you're just like, I'm pissed that I didn't think about it to use that word, and then
I love words that sound wrong, but are the right thing to use in that scenario. Because you see people's face, they're like, they kind of want to call you on it, to be like, I don't think that, but they're not confident enough that you're wrong to call you on it, and then that little tension is very fun for me.
I don't know. I think that's just like
it's a little Machiavellian and socially manipulative, but you gotta
case in point, right there.
Okay, Machiavellian basically means to manipulate politically for your own gain and
enjoyment.
I know what it means, fuckheads.
Well, you sounded like you didn't know.
He played Assassin's Creed 2,
it is unnecessary,
Brotherhood, and Revelations just like the rest of us, and learned about Machiavelli.
All right, I'm cutting that part out for my.
For the love of Christ.
They were a great video game.
Christ. All right. Thanks for listening to Generation Dan. Where can they find you guys on the interwebs?
You can find me on Instagram at Nick Fernandez Comedy, or here on the podcast, alternatively named Three Guys Bickering.
Isn't that just any podcast? Like,
yes.
Yeah. Pretty much.
We need a woman to get involved. Is what we need.
We should start having guests. I think.
Why not?
Let's do it.
Or guest hosts and just get rid of the dead weight here.
Listen,
you just rotate someone out every week.
Right.
I'll leave it way open-ended on who I think the dead weight is.
Oh no, even better, like the person replacing one of us just wears a wig, right, and is in the same room as them, but just don't acknowledge
You have to mail them Dino shirts, and just see someone in a billowy... it's like, God. Is that a blouse?
It's wrapping around like a tunic.
Is that a dress? Is that a toga?
You gotta mail him my Ozzy Osbourne painting, all that good stuff.
All
right, you can
pop-up sets to people.
Christ, you can find me at Atlas Novak, Twitter, Instagram, or you can find my other show at Nexus at Night in the same places.
And I'm Dino the Genetic Marvel. You can find me everywhere. I even opened up a TikTok account today, which I am already regretting. I haven't loaded anything, but I do regret it. So
opening that app feels like a crime until the algorithm knows you.
I'm at an age where I don't look at that barely legal porn. I'm like, no. I need to know that this woman she's in charge of her life and has made the decision to do porn. I'm uncomfortable with a lot of this.
You need to know she's saving for something.
Maybe she's in med school. Good on her. That's not my point.
She's got plans, goals,
A 401k.
I
Yes,
really
got
feel
worries
like
in life.
children should be put into another world until they hit, 18 or 19, and then okay, now you can enter society because they are fucking feral. Anyways, yeah, Dino the Genetic Marvel. Find me somewhere.
Yeah, now I'm just imagining you reading Lord of the Flies and be like, yeah, do it. That sounds awesome. They should.
Definitely. I was like, I would win Lord of the Flies. I'm like, are you kidding me? I would wear the pig's head. Okay, I wouldn't need a stick. I would just be like, yeah, let's do it.
I wish I had Dino at like a dinner party where there's like a shitty 11-year-old whose parents like always let them talk and never cut them off, and you're like, the ones where the parents are like, they're precocious. No, they're shitheads who think they have like opinions better than adults. Performative eye rolls and everything.
Oh my god! All right, well,
that's definitely what's gonna happen.
So I guess the lesson here is go reread Lord of the Flies and actually absorb its message. And we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.